Welcome to Utah's Fly Corner. I'm Johnny Utah. I'm going to show you how to tie my Marauder, called Utah's Marauder. Hook I have here in the vise is a Daiichi 1560 size 12. Thread I'm going to be using is Uni Camel. I also use Pearl Saw Brown. I'm going to start my thread at the eye. I'm going to lay down a nice layer of thread for the base of the fly. You hold your thread out in a 90 degree, you can get it to lay pretty much right next to each other real easy. Break my tag off. Stop a little bit before the barb there. The tag on the fly is Mirage Opal Tinsel, medium. Take a little bit here. Just catch that in, and then just hold it tight and touch and turns, run it down. Now, I like to go about midway down the bend. I'd like to put a long tag on this fly. And bring your thread back up to where you tied in. You can put super glue onto the thread there to protect the tag, but I'm going to do something a little different. Just for a little bit of speed. Touch and turns, wind that up. Get a couple turns over it. And you can snip it off about the same length as the body. Try to keep it balanced. Okay, and to protect the tag, just use some Bug Bond UV light. The light's nice. Just put a little drop on there, and then with your needle you can just work it right around. Just a nice thin coat to protect it. And you can hit it with the torch. And I gotta say, the torches, I'm using Loon's torch. The torches are great. They put out a lot of UV light, which cures the resin rather fast, and they only take one battery, so that's a big plus. Okay, so that's all set. Now we're going to tie in the tail. Tail's going to be Badger Hackle, Silver Badger. Let's take off about a dozen fibers or so, 18, 20, whatever. Just going to measure that. I measure it, but more or less what I go for with the measurement is the full length of the hook, the entire hook. And as you can see, I get a little bit of that black, and that's what we want showing. Catch that in. Have that black come about to the end of the tag mark. Just catch that in with a turn. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to catch in my rib. Now the rib's going to be fine oval tinsel. This is a Lagerton. Lagerton's the best oval tinsel you can get by far. It's actual metal, not mylar, with a silk core. It's strong stuff. It's worth every penny. If you look at it and you say, oh my God, that stuff's expensive, it's worth every penny. Okay, so we got the tag. We got the rib tied in. Now I'm going to forego tying this stuff down. What you can do is bring the thread up, tying all that in nice and tight, but I'm going to just go right ahead with making the body. Now for the body, the dubbing I use is this marabou fluff here. This is our dark hackle for the collar, but here you can see that nice dun colored dubbing. But what I do is I just hold the stem and I pinch off pieces, and I get pieces to dub with. Just pinch those off. Get yourself some dubbing. You don't need a lot. And just dub this on. And just when you wind this up, just wind it nice and tight. That way you're tying in that material on the way up with it dubbing. Just showing you a quicker way to tie a fly as opposed to, you know, going nuts with wrapping the thread. Just need a little bit more, pinch a little bit off. I want to bring this up to about the 2/3 point. Right about there. Take out the excess. Just looking pretty good. Now the body hackle on it, silver badger. You want a smaller hackle. You don't want to be going crazy with the hackle. Strip off the fluff. Tie it in with the good side facing yourself. I like to bring that down to the eye and just break this stem off. The little guy that's going to be getting in the way of the head there. Get him off. I have to fold that back just a little bit. This one I might be able to get away with without using the pliers. So I'm going to go ahead, rib the body, catch my tinsel, just bring it up, nice close turns, catch your thread, tie down your tinsel. You can snip your excess out of the way. Come in here and snip out your remaining hackle. Then what I like to do, you can either do it with Velcro or I just got a toothbrush here. The toothbrush, if you trim them down like this, it gives you real stiff bristles, but they're not stiff enough to the point where they wreck stuff. But just mind your tail and just bring out some of that marabou into the body. And then just sweep it all back. Okay. Now up here towards the head, before I put the collar hackle on, I like to put in a little bit of peacock. It's going to take 2 eyes. And catch it. Just bring the thread around, then pull them in. I'm actually going to wind back over the hackle just a little bit, just to get that hackle to sit back a little bit. I don't like this excess. Get that out of there. I'm just going to wind this on. And as you wind, just stroke that stuff back. Those hairs. Just a couple of turns. You don't need much. When you're doing the stuff up here towards the head, you always got to pay attention to what's going on around in this area here, because ultimately, you know, that's going to end up being your head. Okay, so we got that set. Now we're going to go ahead and get our hackle. Okay, so just clean that area up a little bit, and then what I do is just take 2 tight turns, just like figure 8 through that peacock roll. It messes it up a little bit, but in the long run, it's just going to end up protecting it. A little stray fiber there. Get him out of there. Now we're going to do the collar hackle. The collar hackle is a dark speckled hen. You can get this color if you get a furnace. If you get a furnace, it comes from a furnace neck. You'll end up with a dark saddle. Check out Colin's hackle for him. If you pick up Greenwell, what he calls a Greenwell neck, you'll end up with one of these saddles that comes with it. Really nice stuff. But what I want to go for is for the hackle to be all the way back, come back to the back of the hook. Now hen hackles saddle hackles, really thick stuff. There's a lot on there. So what I like to do is just take one side off. Just get rid of it. You can do it this way, or you can just do less turns. But I prefer to do it that way. I'm just going to wind that tip in. Just going to fold it back. And keeping the thread real tight. Oh, he doesn't want to break off. Let's snip him out of there. Come on, you. Alright. Then we're going to wind our hackle. Now, just because you stripped off one side doesn't mean to wind it on the edge that you stripped. You still need to wind it as if that other side was on there. Just one turn right in front of the other, stroking the fibers back as you wind. Put a decent amount of hackle on it. And the hackle fibers, they'll all clump up like that with the hen saddle. It's just what happens with them. Just catch that stem in. I like to catch it in down to the head. Then you can break it off. And bring the thread back up. And to separate the fibers a little bit, you can hit it up with the brush. Just brush them out. Get it sitting right. In the water, they'll all fan out and everything. So don't stress about it too much. And if you put too little on, after the fish chew on it, there's nothing left of it. So you don't want to go. It's a fine balance of how much hackle really should be on it. If you go too sparse, then a couple fish you don't have any hackle. You go too heavy and it just looks like a blob in the water, which a lot of fish don't mind that either. But what I'm going to put a jungle cock on it. Got two small eyes here. Oops, dropped one. Two of the smaller eyes. What I did was I stripped it back from where I want to tie them in. I'm just going to put both of them on there at the same time. Just offer them up. And just catch them with two turns. See how they're sitting. This one's a little too high. Pull them into place then. Just see if they're even. Just even them up. It's looking pretty good. And just tie these in. I like to go right down towards the eye. And sweep everything back. Start making yourself a head. You can bend and break that stuff off. Any wily hackles that don't want to cooperate, you can break those guys off as well. Just taking a look, see how she's sitting. Hackle's a little clumped up there by the eyes, but it's okay. I'm just going to go right into whip finish. See a little bit of a stem there that I missed. Snip that off, get this stem out of here. He's gone. And just one more time, I'm going to hit it up with the brush. Okay, even. Just one last little touch. I like to varnish the head a little bit. And that's the fly, the Utah Marauder. Tie some up, fish them. It's been been serving me well. Past several times I've been out. But Johnny Utah, check me out on my site, www.utahsflycorner.com. Thanks for watching.